Hi everyone, Kenneth here. Welcome. So welcome to episode 72 of Mompreneur Space live show. I'm Kenneth Chu, the host and also the author of Mother Industrialist, Perfecting the Balance Between Motherhood and Business Success. So I've been running my own digital marketing agency, KC Creative Marketing, for the past 5 years. So in this new season, I will be still interview a very successful mompreneur on every Monday, and I hope that it will continue to inspire and motivate more mothers who are running their own business or those who wanted to start their own. During the live show, you can start posting your question in the comments and we will answer them at the end of the show. So I really hope you guys will enjoy this new episode. So in this new episode, we will be talking about the importance of knowing your numbers in business. So today, I'm very glad that I've invited this mompreneur, good friend of mine that I've known her for in the past 2 years. And in last year, she also have attended my mompreneurship workshop. She has always been a person that really loves to learn and improve on her business. So for her, she's a founder of PerfecTen Corporate Services Private Limited. She's a chartered accountant and she's a mompreneur with 2 teenage sons, aged 21 and 18. So without further ado, let us welcome Elsa. Hi Elsa.
Hello, hi Kenneth.
Good to have you. Thanks for making time.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to this to your show.
You're welcome. So before we start, right? Every guest, there's a tradition that every guest have to answer the question of the day before we can officially kickstart with the show. Okay, so are you ready with the question of the day posted by the previous guest before we can start? Okay, so the question of the day posted by the previous guest is: share about a meaningful conversation that you most recently had with someone that you care about. Okay, I'll repeat again. The question of the day posted by the previous guest is: share about a meaningful conversation that you most recently had with someone whom you care about. Okay, so it's a bit long. You got it? Okay. Spend some time to think about it while I go onto Facebook Live and see if you are live successfully, and I'll come back to you. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay, let me just. We are live now. I can hear myself. Okay, now waiting for yours. Okay, Elsa, maybe you can say hi to the audience so that I can hear whether your voice is in or not.
Hi everyone. Is it okay?
Let me just take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, waiting for yours because there's a delay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. You're live successfully and you can hear you loud and clear. So Elsa, are you ready with your answer to the question of the day?
Okay.
Okay, share it with us.
Yeah. The last meaningful conversation I had is with my husband. Yeah, because during circuit breaker, we spend every day together, sit side by side and work together.
Wow.
Yeah. So at times we also watch quite a fair bit of YouTube on how to improve our life.
Wow.
You know, the life, how to balance our life and what we want to do when we retire.
Wow.
You know, so we have conversation on that. I think it's very good to spend some time to converse on what we wanted to do in future together after we retire, because by the time we really do not have a full-time job, you know, so what are we going to do? So I think it is very important to have this meaningful conversation.
Wow.
Yes.
It sounds like this circuit breaker or even the phase one, the lockdown, like you were saying that every day you and your husband are sitting side by side because you guys are working from home, and now your boys are really big already. One is already a young adult, 21 years old, and the other one is 18. So both of you will have more time to spend spend walking down this memory path, I guess.
Yes, because like the past 20 plus years is like working, right?
Yep.
So now, although we still have different area, like he is a full-time employee and I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Whenever we have time, we just talk, lah. Try to catch up, and share. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And thanks a lot for your answer to the question of the day. And now we can officially start the show. So maybe we can say hi to the audience that is tuning in or those that are watching the replay. So maybe you can just say hi to them.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Okay. So before we move on, right, Elsa, maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself because there might be guests that's seeing you for the first time, and we also have audience that's all around the world tuning in. So you can do a short introduction of yourself. What were you doing before you start your company, and also what are you currently busy with, and where are you from? Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. One more time. Good evening. My name is Elsa. So I started my career as an auditor, and after that, I moved on to join an MNC as an accountant, and then slowly climb up the ladder, become the finance manager. So in 2014, I actually took a career break for 2 years. During that 2 years, I became a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so stay-at-home mom, what do they do? So it's like chauffeur, cooking. So I spend more time with my sons, two sons. Okay, so after 2 years, I became very bored, and I actually my saving is like become less and
Depleting.
less. So yeah, depleting. Yeah, there's no income for me. So I started looking for opportunity. I try to go out and network, and also work freelance for one of my friends. After that, I always have this dream to start my own business, even when I was in corporate. I want to do anything that I can, fulfill my dream as a business owner. So after that, in 2016, I think I better do something for my own. So as a accountant by profession, so it's very very naturally to choose accounting as the business for to start. Yeah, that's how I incorporate my company in 2016. Yeah, so start providing incorporation, bookkeeping, and also tax services for my clients. Yeah.
So that was naturally how you started because you were a accountant, you were in this finance, and because you became a mom also at the same time, and because you want to spend more time with your children, you will stay at home, and in 2014 or 16.
14, I took a career break. Then after that, 2015, 16, I literally stayed home looking after my sons. Yeah.
So how old was your son back then? Was it like
Okay. That was also is it pull factor, right? For me to stop a full-time job because my son that year was in PSLE. Yeah.
so your younger boy, is it?
Yes, my younger boy.
PSLE,
Right.
okay.
PSLE. So I also quite burnt out at the time. So so it's like okay, I mean you just take a break. Yeah. Also because of partly because of health reason. Yeah.
Okay, because your work is really draining you, and you are depleting not just your energy, even your health. That's why at the same time your youngest boy was having his PSLE, and you felt that that was the right time for you to leave, for you to be like helping him or coaching him, taking care of him, making sure that his PSLE is he's prepared for his PSLE, right?
Not much of coaching because
Or just a break for you.
yes, leave them independent. They study on their own. I just make sure that I fetch him to and from the school. Make sure he don't spend a lot of time taking public transport. Yeah, so yeah, sending food to the school for him.
Wow.
Sometimes, yeah.
So was that okay? Other than your health, right? Because you say because of your health, and that's why you took a break. So is there another reason why you took this leave? That means to away from your work that you've been in corporate for so many years. So other than taking a break because you are burning out, is there any other reason that you want to pursue, or you just want to take a step back, relax, reflect? Is there any other reason?
Um, what I mentioned just now was the main reason, but also because I wanted to see the world.
Oh, okay. Travel.
Yeah, because my character is I like to connect with people,
Mm-mm.
but in the past when I was in corporate world, I hardly have that time. Yeah, so it's quite routine, right? The job,
The
and
lifestyle.
yeah, at times really have to do overtime, and even burn out my the weekends, to go back to office. So I think it was a good break for me.
Mm.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
know that a lot of my friends who are in accounting, because in fact my wife, she started accounting. She was
Uh-huh.
in accounting for many many years. She
Okay.
was a audit assistant initially.
Mm.
That was also draining, although she was back then was really young. Like we just stepped into corporate, so for her was really burning out. And when she was an accountant, it was also long hours. And for her, like the beginning of the month and end of the month, right, it's always the busiest.
Yes.
And only the mid month, right, is not that busy, but you are still really busy with a lot of backlog, a lot of stuff. Then a lot of times you, like for her, I do not know why the company she work for, right, often have lack of staff. That means the
Oh.
retention rate is very very low. So
Mm.
there's a huge turnover. and and also at the same time, because of her health, she has a disease or illness. So it's also very hard for her to get too stressed up also. So now
Mm.
she's working as an admin, which is much better. Maybe Monday to Friday after 6, normally she don't have to really do much OT. Yeah.
Mm.
So I understand that the stress from accounting, especially if, like most of her poly mates, they are in accounting. So I can really see that they are really working their ass off. Like there's no really break. Even weekends, even her brother study accounts.
Mm.
During weekend he has to go back to office to settle the work also. So it's really very draining. I can understand. At the same time, it's also hard for you to take leave, because if you take leave, right, they you need someone to take over your work, right? So but most of the time you are so onto your work, it's very hard for you to rely on your colleague to take over the work.
Yeah, it was quite difficult that time because I have a team of my my colleagues, so I need to look after them as well, and also supporting the regional office.
Mm,
So it's like the work is like non-stop one, and it's a cycle. You finish one month, then another month coming.
correct.
So yeah,
It's never ending, right?
yeah, it's never ending. Although now, when I providing accounting service for my client, it's also like never ending.
Mm,
But I can feel the fulfillment, satisfaction that like providing service to a SME group is different. Is different. Yeah.
yeah. I guess it's also because it's your own business. The amount of work, the amount of things that you help your clients, and eventually you love what you're doing. You love your work. It's just that
Mm.
when you work for yourself, there's more fulfillment, and if clients appreciate what you have done for them, then you will even feel better. So like today's topic, right?
Mm.
We talk about the importance of knowing your numbers in business. So I just have this question just suddenly pop up, right? Uh, as you are running your corporate services company or accounting firm,
Mm.
is number that important for running a accounting firm or even a corporate services company business?
Uh, Maybe I throw this question back to you because you're also running your own business, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that your number is important for you? Like when you know whether your company is making a profit, a red or in a black, in the
Yeah.
red or in the black. And when you start saying, you know, you want to scale out your business,
Mm-mm.
so is on the number, the funding, the profit, is it you can support the scalability of your business?
Mm.
So all this you have to think. So I throw back the question to you.
Okay, to be frank, right? That's why I always wanted to bring you onto my show to share on this part. A lot
Mm,
of business owner, for me, I would consider myself accidental entrepreneur or accidentally start my business because I got laid off by my previous employer, and my client said, "Hey Kenneth, why not you start your own company so that you can continue to service us in marketing?" So that was just a very very, I think it's like very naturally I just start my company because I want to continue to service my clients. That was very
mm,
simple. So I started off as sole proprietor because it's like the most basic for startup or for someone to start, and also the cost to start a sole prop is
mm,
not that high also. And that was very simple. I never thought that this
mm,
business I would want to scale, or I even want to incorporate it into a private limited. I never thought of that. So all these things I learned along the way. So it's only when I first started off as a sole prop for 2 years, and for me, although I'm good in math, back then in school I'm good with my accounting, but when you talk about really business, because like I mentioned, I start off without knowing that I'm going to be in business, so I
mm,
didn't really didn't really track my accounts, didn't track my numbers, and it's all in the mess. So until when I incorporate into private limited, then I start to really what do you call that, keep track of it. Because in the past there are people, business owners telling me, oh, so prop no need to really track one, you just have a like income and like P&L, and that's it. Very
It's
very
sometimes estimate,
simple.
right?
Huh?
Sometimes estimate, right?
It's like aga how you thought lah. We say
Yeah.
aga, then we just report, because
Mm,
it's also hard, and at the same time, because we are running business day in day out, we don't really have the time to really sit down and go through the, like, my most of my receipt, right, become invisible because the ink vanish, like all the receipts and all that. So it's also very hard for my admin to key in all the figures. We say, hey, boss, no, cannot see that the numbers, cannot see the
yeah.
figures. So it's also hard because sometimes we keep too long, right? The ink all vanish. So for me, I know that the numbers are important when I'm thinking whether I want to scale. But in the beginning, I never thought that I even want to scale the business. I even want to grow the business. I just want to, like, it's more like a survival. You need the income. You're not working for someone. Then you just every day you just think about taking the money in.
Mm,
So it's only until I would say last year, then I started to wake up. After running the business for 4 years, started to wake up. Hey, my figures are not very good. I kind
mm,
of feel it, because after incorporating the first year, the second year, then I say, I'm not really making money. I do not know whether I'm in red or not. Then one of my fellow author friend, he also run his own business. So he asked me that, hey Kenneth, is your business in red? I say, I don't know, like, I'm not very sure. And that
mm,
was when I dig out everything. So I would say the numbers are important, but for us, right, accidentally I step into entrepreneurship or start a business, right, I would not know. And I believe, and I come across a lot of startup, right, what business should we register? Like, is it a sole prop? Is it a private limited? Then there's what, LLP, LPL, or things like that. So that's so
LPM.
confusing.
Okay.
So that's why I guess, right, most of us, right, we just chuck it one side and we don't bother about it until when we want to find investor or we want to have a partner. Then we start to go back to our accounts, which I feel personally is a bit too late. That's why I want you to talk about, like, the importance of knowing your numbers. I know the
Mm,
importance, but the problem is I already had the wrong footing, wrong start. So maybe one way you can share with us, the audience, or share with me that in my case, right, what should I do? And then maybe can share with the startup or people who are thinking of starting business, what are the key things that they should take note.
okay. So, you know, during my 3 years supporting SME owners, so the common issue that I came across is business owners always, most of them will put numbers the last, meaning this is not their top priority, because their top priority is what? Is to grow the business, right? Is to get more sales in. Yeah.
Yep.
So this part they always put it at the least important or least priority for them. So maybe we can, even though they can, there's so much information on Google, you can
Correct.
Google how to start a business, what you need to do, numbers, why numbers are important. All these are theory that you can find from Google. Because even I told my client many times,
Mm.
but at times, business owner, you still have to focus on your business, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the education part that we need to keep educating business owners, like how important, because like what you explained, basically you covered most of the importance of the numbers just now.
Mm.
It's like when you need to scale your business, when you need to look for investors, or you are taking a loan from the bank.
Mm.
Okay, so you need to submit financial statement. So without like 2 to 3 years financial statements, also a sound financial statement.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, so you can't get the loan from the bank. So all these are the consideration you need to you really need to put in some effort. I mean, for business owners, yeah, to build up their accounting system, and all that. So when you talk about what startup should take note, right? Um, for me, there are many considerations when they want to start their business. And the very simple thing is keep it lean and keep it simple. Yeah. So I will start with SBC. Okay.
Mm. What is that?
SBC. S is structure, business structure.
Mm.
We need
Mm.
to consider. Okay. B is what are the benefits of the different business structure, the legal and also the privileges that you can gain from a different business structure. And C is the compliance. So when you wanted to start a business, you need to consider these three things. That's in my opinion. Okay, there are many considerations. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you want me to elaborate
You
further?
can, I think it will be good for you
Yeah.
to elaborate more because we have audience that is tuning in. We have
Mm,
Jeffrey, we have Kazania, we have Benson, we have Lynn, we have Robin, we have Adeline.
mm.
So maybe
Hello.
for them, they will be interested in finding out what is SPC all about, what is the basic
Mm,
element or basic things that for startup or any business. Like for me, it is
mm.
it too late? Is it too late to what do you call that, to get my accounts up and really be on top of it? Yeah.
It's never late, because I also during the 2 years I also help SME owners. Some SME owners, they don't have accounts from the start. I have to really help them to gather all the documents. Some they may missing or whatever. Try to collect all the documents, set up the system, and clean up their accounts for them. So it's never late.
Mm.
It's only the problem is you don't start. Okay. So talk about the structure, right? There are many business structure in Singapore. So one is a sole prop.
Mm.
You have partners. Partners, you have three types. Partnership, okay. There's a limited one, limited liability partnership. Then the other common one is a company, corporation. Okay, so maybe today I probably will touch a little bit on partnership, but I'll talk more on sole prop and company.
Mm. Mm.
Okay,
Can.
so so if let's say for business owners who would like to, depending on their trade, if let's say they wanted to start a simple, less risk business, they can consider sole proprietorship.
Mm.
Okay, so proprietorship mainly is very simple and low cost to start off with, and it's
Elsa,
only,
before you move on, I
yeah.
just want to find out, right? Because when you say low risk, right, what
Mm,
type of business is there? Any example, like what type of business is considered low risk? For example, like for mine, right, digital marketing services, is it considered low risk or considered high risk? So
mm,
what business model or business should I set up,
okay,
register?
Okay, so if you need to consider when you start up the business, right? Are you starting alone or you are actually getting another partner to join in? Yeah. So proprietorship is basically one businessman. I mean one owner. So you and the business is considered one entity. Yeah. So this is one consideration. So you asked me about example. What I can think of is like freelancer. Freelancer, maybe in graphic designer, copywriters, or even tuition teachers. Yeah,
So for them,
they
they freelancer, they need to register for a company or they don't need to. It's up to them.
it depends. Some freelancer they actually work for different companies, so they actually work on a contractual basis. Now some freelancer they actually wanted to start. They want to have their company business name. I call it business name, so they can register as a sole prop. Yeah, right. So
it's not a need that it's not necessary for freelancer to register a sole prop or any business, right? They can just be freelancer, like self-employed. Just
yes.
that every year when they declare, they are declaring the income tax under the self-employed side.
Right. So it all depends why you want to start a business. Are you happy with just providing services as a freelancer, or you really want to start a business? So when you want to start a business, you can start small. I mean, it depending whether you have capital to start off with. If let's say you want to start small, you can actually start from a sole proprietorship. Yeah. And low startup cost and it's easy to set up as well. But bear in mind that because the owner and the business is one legal entity, right? So if let's say anything happened to the business, right?
Yep.
So the owner is liable for any debts or any liabilities for that business. So this is the disadvantage
of sole prop, right?
Yeah, right. So also business owner will be taxed at the personal tax rate. Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't enjoy tax exemption, the tax scheme.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So when you say
very
that,
technical.
I guess the key thing is it's like, okay, we know that accounting and all these corporate services is very technical. That's why I also feel personally I'm not a very numbers person, I'm not a very system person or technical person. So is there any way that you can make it simple for us to understand? Like for example, like you mentioned that the liability is on us. If let's say the service that we provide, the client is not happy and the clients come back to us, or the clients want to claim us, it's our own liability, right? That means my personal asset, or like my house or my car or whatever that is under my name will be affected. Am I right to say that?
Yes. Right. But for like limited liability partnership or private limited company, there's many types as well. So I just put it in generic, say private limited company. So that structure, right? Actually, there's a separate legal entity. So shareholders is shareholders, directors, they have different legal liability. Yeah, separately from the company. Yeah. So I go on to explain more about the structure of a company, because the sole prop and the company is the most common structure in Singapore. Partnership is like if let's say you have another partner or more than two that wanted to co-own a business, you can actually also set up a limited liability partnership. It's also there's a separate legal entity.
Okay.
Separate liability from.
So that is for partnership. That means for only two owners, right? Two business owners.
Minimum two.
Okay.
Right.
So what's the difference between LLP and private limited?
LLP is partnership, so profit is being shared. Okay. And also the partners are being taxed at the personal.
Oh, it's still under personal tax.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Also the setup is also lower than a company.
So when you talk about company, you are referring to private limited.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also the compliance cost is lower
Mm.
because they every year they need to declare
Mm-mm.
the company, the business is sound, yeah, is able to paying the debts. But whereas under private limited, right, there are
Mm.
more compliance to follow. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
right.
But I guess
So
it's because of the
mm,
compliance, it also removed the liability on the business owner, right? Because like from what you mentioned, right, the LLP is, if anything happens to the business, the partners will still be liable under their personal assets, right?
mm,
Under
that-
LLP.
if let's say it's limited liability, it is not. But say for example, one partner, right?
Mm.
Uh, he did something wrong
Yep.
and affected the business, right? So the other partner is not liable for what the other partner has done wrongly. Yeah, that's fall under the limited liability
Mm.
partnership. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Is it a bit confusing?
No, I guess that is
Yeah.
also because
Mm,
when you call it a partnership but it's under limited liability, then is I think the understanding, because
mm,
for me, right, when I read whatever that is in that in ACCA, right, so
mm.
it's really complicated, like are you a liable or not liable. Then when you declare your tax, right, you are still declaring as a company, as a
No, that's
partnership.
partnership is the declaration.
Mm.
Yeah, for you're talking about the income or
The income,
the income, yes, they still have to declare.
so the
Under
income
the
is
partnership, yes. And
okay.
then whatever the income derived, the profit derived from the partnership, they will have to declare under the personal tax as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is uh what are the reason why one should set up a private limited and why one should start a LLP?
Mm, LLP, okay, I talk about the private limited first. I think
Mm-mm.
this is a bit heavy at this hour. I just keep it simple,
Yep,
okay?
yep.
So private limited company is just like I explained before, is a separate legal entity.
Mm.
And also, there's a regulation, the financial regulation to follow. We call it FRS, okay?
Mm.
Financial Reporting Standard. Also, we need to comply with IRAS, with ACCA, okay? And on top of that, you need to appoint a company secretary
Mm.
to do annual return at year end, financial year end, and also need to prepare unaudited financial statements.
Mm.
So if let's say the company is big enough and have corporate shareholder, they also need to get audited. So all
Mm.
these are under the compliance. Whereas compared to LLP, we don't do all this. You don't need to appoint any company secretary. Though you need to do annual declaration, but
Mm-mm.
not annual return, and accounts no need to be audited.
Mm. So for, if let's say the private limited, right, I'm the only director, I don't have partners, so the company is still liable for audit.
No, there's a criteria to fulfill.
Mm.
Yeah, 10 million. If let's say your revenue is more than 10 million,
Mm.
yeah,
Then you need
so
to,
correct.
okay. Yeah. So I guess it's also like because there's different criteria like you mentioned.
Mm,
Like for, if like for me, I'm the only director, like private limited, the accounts is very simple. The transaction is also very
mm,
simple.
mhm,
So it's just that, okay, for me, like, I correct me if I'm wrong. Back then when I want to incorporate from sole prop to private limited, because I'm seeing that I'm getting more work, more jobs from my clients, meaning that the cash flow or the income, there's more. So I'm just afraid in the event that if this amount comes to 5 figures or 6 figures, the project that I'm getting, in the event that anything goes wrong, it will be under, so if let's say I'm still registered as sole prop, the whole liability, the claim or the legal will just fall on my personal, right? If a
mm,
sole prop. But if
mm,
I'm a private limited, it will not, right? It will still be on the company, like my company, KC Creative Marketing. If any
correct.
claim, any legal is going to impose onto me, it will be under the company, not under my personal name. Am I right to say that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But because you're also the director, So you also have your duty as a director for the company,
Okay.
private limited. Yeah.
So I guess these are
So
things that we do not know.
mm,
We just
mm,
register.
yeah. So you need to consider when also from the tax point of view, you know, when your business start growing, when your profit become, more and more, right?
Mm.
You need to not take advantage. It's not the right words to use. Means optimize your tax. Okay, meaning setting up a private limited will have more benefit than sole prop, because
Because of the
government,
tax, right?
yeah, government give newly startup company first 3 years tax
Yep.
exemption and tax
Yep.
rebate. Yeah, so you need to consider tax as well when you start up your business. Yeah.
But I guess like for a lot of startup, for a lot of our friends that are watching is tuning in, like when we start company, we never think that much. Like for me, accidental, I also know a few that it's like because of this kind of scenario, they started their business. They just started a business for survival, and they never knew
Mm.
that it became profitable. Yeah.
Mm.
So it.
Actually,
Mm,
actually, doing business is a journey to me. You can start out with a sole prop, no
mm,
problem. So as your business growing, you can actually access at a different stage, do assessment. Your business. Okay, maybe when your profit reach maybe about 100K. Okay, yeah, you can start considering register a private limited company. You can convert your sole prop into a private limited.
okay. So you were saying that that means from your standpoint or from your
Mm.
years of experience, that means for someone who wants to incorporate to private limited, the profit, it will be good if let's say it's around 100K sales revenue or just profit 100K.
I will give a profit. Yeah, correct. Then you can start benefit from the tax
Oh, okay.
exemption
Okay.
from yeah. Go ahead.
So you were saying that when okay, so as a sole prop, right?
Mm.
Maybe the company has not made money yet, or we have not take profit from it yet. So when we want to start taking profit from the company, then it will be good for us to start incorporating it into a private limited.
In fact, there are also other factors. Okay,
Mm,
so profit, business growth is one thing. Also, when you want to get funding,
mm,
funding saying you want to borrow money from the bank.
mm, mm.
So as company, it's easier to get the bank loan from sole prop.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
for that means as a sole prop, it's easier to get fund
So
loan.
private limited,
Or private limited is easier.
yes.
But you were saying that you have to have at least 3 years of records, right? Financial records.
At least 2 to 3 years the financial statements.
So the financial statement has to be under the private limited, or it can be just on the sole prop.
Actually, sole pro also need to prepare financial statement. It's a
Okay.
simple we call it simple balance sheet
P&L.
P&L, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it
So
doesn't
some of
matter whether is
my
it private limited or sole prop P&L, as long that there's a statement
so while
there.
you are doing business, right? Record keeping is very important.
Mm, mm,
Fill up
mm.
your accounts is very important because one day you may want to scale up and you want to register become a private limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you need to transfer your asset over to your private limited. So knowing what happened in your company, the numbers, the financial is very important.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
it's also like whoever want to start a business, whether is it a sole prop, from what I'm hearing from you, as what you have shared, whether you're sole prop, whether you're a partnership, whether you are a private limited, it will still be good for you to start the accounts right from the beginning, because you
Mm,
never know um, what you will be doing in the future as the business grow, or even if the business is not growing, at least you still have the figures, the past P&L. Eventually if you want to sell, it's also coming good, right? If you want to sell the business, at least you can show to someone that, hey, I'm profiting, just that now I want to let go of the business. You can buy the business. If imagine if I don't have the figures on hand, right, I don't think I can sell the business, right?
okay, I share with you a case of my clients.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he is a private limited company. So his business is growing. So there's one day he's looking for investor. So there's one investor from China actually interested in his business, in IT business.
Mm.
So he start like preparing his financial statement because he only engaged me to do annual accounts. So I start preparing, updating the financial statement. The China party, right, actually asked a lot of information from the company. You know, it's not the usual balance sheet P&L. They even wanted to know the customer, the paying pattern,
Mm.
how well is the aging and all that.
Wow.
So if let's say you without the you know, imagine if let's say your financial statement is not up to date, right, your
Mm.
accounts is not up to date, how are you going to turn around and capture that investor? Yeah,
Correct.
right.
So you never
So
know, like you mentioned, like you never
mm,
know when your accounts will come in handy. So it's
mm,
also good to get the accounts sorted out before before this kind of opportunity comes, right? Like
yeah,
investors or even.
either the opportunity comes or probably you are actively looking out for investor as well. Yeah,
Mm.
and funding.
Okay,
Mm.
so maybe you can share with us like what are the things that startups should watch um, when they want to start business? Like someone who's going to start a business, what are the things that they should look out for?
Mm. uh my advice is like keep it lean, knowing okay, keep it simple, and also select the right structure to
Wow, that
start with.
I think that question, right, to start with the right structure is like, even for me, I don't even know what is the right structure. Like for us, we only know our profession. Like I'm a digital marketer, I'm a
Mm,
salesperson. But if you ask me about structure, right,
mm,
that is something I would guess is a handful. Maybe you can give us some example, like what do you mean by lean? Lean meaning that I just have a income, just have the expenses, and don't care about other things. Or what do you mean by lean, simple, and also the structure?
okay, when you wanted to start a business, right, you wanted to keep the operating expenses low,
Mm,
right. Your objective is to have the very good sales revenue.
mm,
Okay, so for a start, right, you don't unless business owner that have a few partners and wanted to do it big, right? If let's say you are a sole entrepreneur,
mm,
start small. So keep it simple. What I mean is that it's like don't maybe don't hire employees for a start.
mm.
Do it on your own. Okay, probably you don't have an office. No need to rent office.
Yeah.
You can do anywhere. You
Mm,
know, leverage on the co-working space
yeah.
or even home office.
Or maybe
Okay.
Starbucks.
Yeah. Concentrate on what's your business process, what accounting tools to use, and build out the process. Yeah, the procedure.
So when you
So
talk about accounting tools,
mm,
right, is it still okay to use Excel sheet? I know it's very old school, but because I guess majority of of us, we only know Excel sheet. I know there's a lot of different accounting tools, but it might seems a bit too technical and too overwhelming for us, especially if you are not in accounting. Yeah,
mm. But don't be surprised. I still have clients sending me Excel sheet.
I'm still using Excel sheet. Just that it upgraded from Excel sheet to Google sheet.
Yeah, yeah. So the other advice is to the entrepreneurs out there is also leverage on technique, the what do you call tech
Technical,
tools,
tech.
technical tools, yes.
Mm-mm.
Because there are many software out there,
Yeah.
accounting tools. Some even are free,
Mm.
like Wave. Wave is free, but provided basic requirement, basic features.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So no matter what, just start with something simple. Don't
But
use Excel. I think because it's like you when you do business, right, you want to have a very
handy.
updated information even
Mm.
on a daily basis, or now we call it real time.
Yeah.
Like when today you build the customer, right? You probably you give a 7 days credit.
Yep.
So maybe within 7 days, you wanted to know, okay, whether the client is paying me, right?
Yep.
So if let's say you invest in tech tools like cloud accounting software, you can really know the information on hand. Yeah, handy. Yeah.
I guess it's like you when you say like using Wave like free, I for me, I've been in business for 5 years. Frankly speaking, I have never heard of anyone telling me about this Wave thing or what startup can use, because I think a lot of accounting firm are big on Zero, the software, but sometimes I felt that because Zero is, we still need to pay, but for a startup like you mentioned, we have to be lean, trying to cut the cost. I think I've never heard of anyone telling me that there's a free software called Wave that we can use for us to keep our accounts. I guess it's also hard for us to, I would say, trust anyone in the market, that means accounting company, to really tell us, because accounting companies sharing with us things, definitely their hope of getting us as their customer or their accounting clients. So I guess it's also the education. It's also very hard to educate us, because the most of the education are coming from the accounting firm. And I guess that it will be good that if we have tools, that means like what you mentioned, like the Wave, or maybe we have a basic template of keeping our accounts there, or maybe good for reporting. I guess these are tools that for startup we can do to at least have the basic structure, basic understanding before we start investing into tools or even software that you mentioned. That that when then and that will be when we can leverage on technology, that we can focus on our operation, and maybe this software can be handled by you or by any other companies that is out there that is more well versed in that.
Yeah. So you mentioned about this, right? On the second year, in the second year of my business, I actually started to help my clients implement cloud accounting software. So because I'm seeing a lot of times, my clients, they are not really using anything to
Because we
even
don't know.
doing quotation. Simple quotation. They also using Words or Excel to
Yeah,
do.
I'm still using that.
Yeah. Then quotation, right? Then you still have to key in the same information when you bill, when you invoice your client. So it's like for time concern, right? It's not very efficient. So back in 2017 or 2018, I start helping my client implement a cloud accounting software. I help them to migrate the data, implement it, and I also provide training one-on-one or one to to two or more of their staff. Yeah, so I think it's very, very important to invest in accounting software that can help you to be more efficient. Yeah, and
So
also you can actually expedite the cash flow.
yep.
Expedite customer who pay you faster.
That means it will be more prompt when you start invoicing, start collecting payment and all that stuff, because it's all on tech, and it's automation, and the invoicing, everything comes very easy because everything is being registered, right? Like this
Yes.
invoice to this client, then every month the which day.
Correct. Because some of my clients they keep invoicing, but they do not know whether the client paid them or not,
Yeah, yeah.
because they don't have the information. It's all on Excel. So if they miss out one update, right, and then you are not able to tally to the bank statement, and then
Wow.
you don't know, oh, this become a bad debt one day. You get what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess it's also to make the accounts cleaner also. Like you
Mm,
mean like the corporate bank account, your invoice, the statement and all that stuff. I guess that is a lot of things. That's why we need specialists and experts like you, for you
mm,
to really let us know what is the importance of knowing our numbers in business.
mm,
Because in business, our main thing is to get the operation running, get the sales in, the rest of this administrative stuff or even accounting, getting our numbers is also important. I
mm.
guess that is also where your expertise will come in. So like time really flies, and we're almost coming to the end of the show. Really love to have you, but I guess we have audience that's tuning in. Maybe you can share with them how can they get connected with you.
Oh, okay. My company is PerfecTen Corporate Services Private Limited. So my website is www.perfecten.com.sg. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And for those who are tuning in and watching the replay, right, all this information is in the description of this post, of this Facebook Live. You guys can go there and get contact and connect with Elsa from PerfecTen Corporate Services. So last but not least, Elsa, now is your turn for you to post the question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So are you ready with your question of the day?
Okay, let me think.
So it can be any question that is revolving around your work, around accounting, or maybe around entrepreneurship.
I'm ready.
Okay, can share with us?
Okay, if you start a new business, right? So would you consider to talk to an accountant upfront?
Sorry again.
So
it's a bit choppy. Maybe you can repeat it slowly.
So if you start a new business, would you talk to an accountant upfront?
Okay, so if you start a new business, would you
engage? Yeah, maybe engage.
Okay, would you engage, because it's a big difference. Like, will you engage or will you talk to a?
Talk to. Yeah.
Okay, so if you start a new business, would you talk to an accountant
for advice?
Or would you say like accounting friend or account friend, or just accountant? Any accountant will do.
Yes.
Okay, so if you start a new business, would you talk to an accountant for advice? Okay, that is good. If you ask me, I don't know. Okay, so okay, now I will talk to one if I start a new business, but the current one I need an accountant to sort out my accounts. But anyway, this question of the day go out to all of you that's tuning in live, and those who are watching the replay. The question of the day posted by Elsa is, if you start a new business, would you talk to an accountant for advice? So this is the question of the day posted by Elsa, and all this question goes out to the next guest and also to the audience that tuning in and watching the replay. So Elsa, any last advice for the mothers who are thinking of pursuing their passion or even step into entrepreneurship? What is your last advice for them?
My advice is start asking why you wanted to start the business and seek help, okay, whenever you need, being professional advice in any areas, just look out for friends or other business networking to start off with. Yeah, that's my final advice. So I hope today I help, by asking by answering some question Kenneth asked. So if let's say you have any further question, you can connect with me through my Facebook or my website.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Elsa, for this awesome advice for those mothers who are thinking of starting their business. So and also thank you for all the golden nuggets, the tips. I know that it's going to be very technical, but I guess it's also good for us to understand some basic between the sole prop, between LLP, between private limited, and also on what business structure should we start off with. And as startup, we should start off lean, the overheads as low, don't have to get an office and stuff like that. So I guess these are very, very, very good advice for startup or even for existing businesses to really know your numbers. And for me personally, I know the importance of it, and now really, really working hard to get my accounts up, so that the future for funding, for loan, and like I also had advice even to get loan from the bank. These are all very, very important information. So once again, thanks Elsa for making the time to come onto my show, and really, really thanks Jolene for the hearts. Yeah, so thanks again. really appreciate finally I had someone to talk about numbers, talk about accounting on my show. I know it's very important, but a lot of business owners are still ignoring it because it's not something that they're very comfortable with. But don't worry, we have Elsa that you can talk to. She will really be more than glad to give you all this business advice, accounting advice, or even for your accounting services and stuff, what you can use to maybe to streamline or even cloud accounting. So thanks a lot. Thanks for those who are tuning in and watching the replay. And Kenneth here signing off with Elsa. Thank you for watching Mompreneur Space live show, and I see you guys in the next episode. See you guys. Bye bye.